All right, there it is in place. We got our little dryer. It'll hook up to this line here, and then like I said, we'll bring the other line probably through this little plastic, have it just kind of come through here, kind of hook out, and I want it kind of here or maybe in line with this, and then we'll use something to kind of tie the two together, and then it'll just be one of these lines, I forget which, goes to the inside, the other one goes to the condenser, I believe the top line of the condenser, and then this right here comes in from the air conditioner. So I think what happens is the hot low pressure Freon flows through this guy, goes through this guy, and then back out to get pumped. But I could have that completely backwards. I don't know. I'm not an air conditioning expert. I'm just hanging the crap. And yeah, it's hung. So we're almost done. I like I said, I broke that. I'm gonna order that part. Supposed to be showing up as soon as it's done. Then we can get this in here for like the final assembly kind of thing, with a pull noodle for a gasket and the top that'll set over place and lock it all in place. And we'll have our air conditioner sorted out. So then we'll just have to figure out the lines for the air conditioner and the heater and the wiring. It sucks going blind, I'll tell you that much. So I'm going to try to show you guys what is going on. Can we do this on these connectors? So these guys, you'll see the inside of them. There's like these little plastic or rubber or silicone pieces that hold these guys kind of in place, but they're just falling apart. You might be able to see how cracked they are and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it's bad enough that they're just disintegrating and the connectors are just basically falling out of these guys. On some of the connectors, I don't know, some hold in okay, but yeah, I'm just gonna basically terminate these guys. Okay, I just thought I'd show you guys this real quick. So how we're doing this, because you know this was a big wad of these connectors. So we had this big wad of connectors here. We have no real clue what they do. so what I want to do is terminate them, and I want to have them watertight. So you can see here, hopefully, that there's the glue inside them, and it's got adhesive inside, so when you heat it up, the adhesive kind of and yeah, makes a watertight seal. And then we just went ahead and kind of grouped them together, and we numbered the terminals, so we know what group of wires goes to what terminal. We left a little bit of wire on. I don't know why I did this, because probably never ever use these, but if we had to backtrack, we can put them back on there or whatever. So if we had to backtrack, God hoped you could find some new connectors. Anyway, yeah, and then this guy will just pull over the front, and it will zoom it down like that, and then all this will get tucked in loom and stuck back behind, and no one will ever see it again, hopefully. And here's the Phoenix. She has just been running like a champ. I love this car. Yeah, I got the new 295s. I know I've already showed you guys this, but they're working out pretty good. Pretty decent traction, you know, about as best as you can get. What's up, bitch ass Bob? Bitch ass Bob. Bob! He's so fluffy. He gets shaved in about 2 weeks. So he is at peak fluffiness right now. His face kind of looks like flame. Bob! You guys see that? It kind of looks like fire. Like El Blanco Fuego, right? Something like that, anyway. Yep. And of course, the sun won't let us. This camera in the sun, yeah. Bob, are you following me? Are you following me, Bob? All he cares about is food. Oh, you want a better shot of the El Blanco Fuego. Fuego El Blanco. I think that means white fire, but I don't know.
I only passed Spanish because I could half-ass speak it, and my Spanish teacher was kind. So we got that wiring all done over here on this side. The plumbing has been pretty much done. We got our, what do you call this? The steam vent is going to the radiator. This guy here, the Volvo overflow thingy, hooked up here. The main hose has been replaced with some new hose, and it goes into the middle of the radiator where it feeds. So we actually fill here. There's no actual cap on the radiator. This will all just be covered. These guys came in, thankfully. The hard line for the condenser, I broke the other one, so we got this guy. It's all bent up. You see how it's going to run here, right next to our dryer. We're going to do a bulkhead up here. So basically, we're just swapping out the oil, doing an oil change. I think I'm going to mess with the gate a little bit. It's set up super soft. Like the way I have it, the springs and the lines ran, it sets the gate open really soft, so it doesn't spool real fast, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that in the way that it's like, yeah, well, it doesn't really make power till later on the RPM band, and it keeps everything together, and there's no like worries. You can just smash on it all day. So God, so that's fine, and it's been fun, but I think I'm gonna switch it around a little bit. I'm gonna make it so the pressure that's going under the gate that lifts the valve is gonna be hopefully a little more delayed. I'm gonna take that out of the manifold instead of just off the charge tubing. Right now everything's just coming off the charge tubing, so I'm gonna mix it up where it should have a little higher pressure on the top of the gate and a little lower pressure on the bottom of the gate in terms of like speed. So I don't know if it's gonna work. It's just a wild, like hey, if you move this to the manifold where it's probably not going to get as strong a signal as right coming off the turbo, then maybe that makes some sort of difference. The soft spring, I think, is what's really making the difference. Like this thing will make on gate to like 2-3 psi, and I think what's happened, the way you guys see the way this is designed, it's got really good wastegate priority. I mean, it's literally, the wastegate is at the end of this tube, which is at the end of this bank and that bank. They all run forward into the wastegate and then up to the turbo, and I think that just that pressure as it comes in, I believe it is hitting that spring, and it's just fighting with itself to try to get the pressure on top of the dome versus the turbo spooling. If any of that makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm not an engineer guy, but maybe that makes sense. So we're just gonna mess with the gate, see if we can get it spool a little bit faster for fun. And I might put it back just so we can just leave it in smash mode. I dig that. The Phoenix is always for sale, so if you want the car, hit me up. And then I got all, like I showed you yesterday, we got all the hard lines ran for the air conditioner stack. So we need to make a bulkhead fitting on the bulkhead, and then we just got to join all these hoses. So that's what I'm procrastinating by doing this. But the oil needed to be changing. When we first did the oil change in this, guys, you guys might remember the oil filter was kind of sketchy. So we looked at it, opened it up, and we did one of these deals where we cut it open and looked at it, and we had a little bit of glitter going on our, we have two. We have a primary, which I've already kind of disposed of, but it basically looked the same. Our secondary, we have, this is just a filter for the turbo, and then our main would be for on the engine itself, but they both look the same. Anyway, last time the engine guy was kind of glittery, and I was really kind of concerned about that. Just wondering, hey, did we get this all right? I did. The last engine kind of glitter bombed, not horribly so, but it did. We lost a bearing, it ate a bearing, and that stuff got all through the lines. I did my best to kind of clean everything out the best I could, but I think some of that was just like a residual. So this time we've had very minor. There's like a couple spots, a little stuff. I don't know if it's just trash that's rolling around the engine. I hope so. But yeah, so we're going to smash this all back together, and we'll be back into, and we're going to change out that wastegate spring, and then we'll be back into boosty mode on the Phoenix. I've already told you guys we're going to stuff this 4L80E in it once we get the wagon done. So it'll be like basically a daily drive. I mean, it could be used as a daily drive. It's fun. I'm telling you, I make everybody I know drive this car, and everyone I know just, it's always the same reaction. They turn into a 5-year-old. They just giggle and move about like like toddlers do when they're excited. It just brings you back to a happy place, just makes noise, and it's just goofy. So it's not, I don't think it's fast necessarily. I mean, it's shockingly so for what it looks like, but I'm not going to be winning any drag races with it, but it's hilarious. It's just like, this is definitely smiles per mile. So it'll be fun with the you get the 4L80 in it, and it'll just be able to cruise on the freeway all day long, and it should be pretty well sorted by then. We just have a few little things that we got to address in the car. One is the leak on the air conditioner line. We got to pop that off, recrimp it, and charge it, see if we can get a good seal on it. And then it was just some wheel speed sensor stuff. I think I have a bad ground on my front wheel speed sensor. The launch control, the button on the shifter for the RPM cut, so you can foot brake it and do your thing, is I plumbed that the wrong way. It has to go into the harness, so we're gonna have to switch out some stuff from the main harness to the CAN bus. No big deal. Just little things will be like, make it perfect. And yeah, then I'll be able to sell it and not feel bad about it at all. I mean, it's in really good shape right now, but those are just like the final little things that need to be done, and then it'll be like the perfect shit box. And who doesn't want the perfect shit box? Plenty of smiles per mile.
The whole time.